Nope. Nope, nothing down there. Nope, nope, no cars, no, nothing. Great. That must mean you're at home. Fabulous. Are you home alone? Are you home with your kids? Are you bored? Are your kids bored? I thought we'd talk about boredom. Why not? Now, boredom essentially is a mental state, and it's a bit like mental fatigue. We know it's uncomfortable, it's a bit frustrating, you don't know what to do next, you can't concentrate on anything. Oh, it's terrible. Boredom has been around for a very long time. There were a lot of Greek philosophers that used to theorize around what boredom was, but it didn't actually hit the English language until about 1766. And after that, they came out with some good definitions that boredom potentially could mean desire for desire. I quite like that. So does everybody get bored in the same way? Well, the short answer to that is no. If you have a look at some of the research around boredom, what it suggests is that people that have potentially low levels of dopamine in their system are more likely to get bored. Now, dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's also a hormone, and it's known as the happy hormone, and it sends messages to your brain when you do something new and it's exciting and you're enjoying yourself. So it makes you happy, and obviously the brain wants to repeat that, so it craves the need to do a lot of new things to keep up the dopamine levels. Why does boredom get such a bad rap? Is it the way that we interpret the word boredom, or potentially even the feeling, as we see it as a state of where we're not particularly creative and we just can't focus on a task? Research suggests that being bored is actually very good for your brain. It boosts creativity, and it really gives you a call to action to do something. You may or may not be familiar with Dr. Caroline Leaf's work. She's a neuroscientist, and she's obviously done some great work around the brain. One of her particular studies that I was interested in reading was some work that she did back looking at some brain scans of the 1970s and some more recent scans. And what she actually devised through looking through her research was the profound effect that social media was having on the brains, with the more recent scans showing quite sort of entangled and matted neuronal pathways. She believes that a lot of that is because that we rely so heavily on external stimulation these days. Back in the 70s, we would learn to play and occupy ourselves quite differently, learning to be creative, and that was very, very good for our cognitive functioning, not only because of the activity and using our imagination, but because we actually owned the stories, or we owned the ideas and thoughts and creativity behind that, where in a modern day world what we're doing is that we're just being externally stimulated by these devices, which is not giving our brains a chance to be creative on their own. Dr. Leaf also suggests that it's very beneficial for us to let our brains be in a state of boredom, so we can go into a default mode network, which is the status where the brain is allowed to just be the brain and let it relax and see what comes of it. So what do we do now that we've got all this information about the brain, and what's the best way to move forward? I think one of the first things to do is to actually accept that boredom is a very normal, natural part of our existence and part of our feeling schema, if you like. And I think that we need to reassess how we think about it, and obviously see it as perhaps more of an opportunity to do something different, to be creative, as opposed to something negative that we can't get away from. I think we have to face it. I think we have to embrace it. Allow yourself to be bored. Be still. Think. Meditate, do something like that to allow yourself to be yourself. And actually it's quite confronting being alone with yourself without any sort of stimuli. And there are lots of reality TV shows at the moment which are showcasing such events where people are locked away without their phones for 2 days a week, and my goodness me, how will they ever cope? But it's very thought-provoking, and as I said, meditation is a great thing to do to get you into that status, to allow you to actually get to know yourself. The other thing I'd like to say and finalise on is get others to do that too. It's a really healthy practice to, especially at this time, because I think some quiet time with yourself to reassess, to reflect is very, very important. So anyway, here's to not being bored, and if we are bored, it's okay, and moving on from there. Okay, all the best. Thanks.